Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something you've asked about a lot. It's the Alesis Nitro Amp, specifically the 70-watt drum monitor for their Alesis Nitro kits.
Right.
And the core pitch, I mean, on paper, it's a home run, you know?
This is perfect.
A low-cost solution, usually under $120, that says it gives you punchy, distortion-free sound.
And it mounts right on the rack. The whole idea is to get you away from headphones.
Which sounds great, but I'm already a little skeptical at that price point.
And you should be. So our mission today is really to dig into this huge gap between the specs on paper, 70 watts peak, 120 hertz response, and what people are actually experiencing.
Yeah, the user experience.
Exactly. When you see hundreds of buyers saying it makes their expensive kit sound like toy drums, you know, there's a story here about transparency.
I saw one review on Sweetwater. The guy said it sounded like hitting a snare drum with a paper towel tube.
Wow.
That one image, it just tells you everything about the missing low end, right?
It really does.
So where does the failure start? What do the sources point to?
It really starts with power, or, you know, the perception of power.
Okay.
That headline number, 70 watts, well, that's peak power.
And peak power is just for a quick burst, right? Not sustained sound.
Exactly. It's an almost irrelevant number for a drummer. You're not playing in tiny bursts. You need continuous, sustained performance.
So what's the real number then for sustained playing?
For that, we need RMS, power root mean square. And according to the engineering estimates in these reviews, this monitor's continuous output feels closer to maybe 10 to 15 watts RMS.
10 to 15.
Yep. So this isn't just a small gap in the specs. It's a textbook example of how the audio industry can use peak power, a really flashy number, to mislead budget buyers.
Wow. Okay, so the power rating is one thing, but it sounds like the real killer is the driver itself. I mean, a kick drum is all about low-end energy.
Right.
How does physics start to fight back when you're using a tiny 3-inch cone?
That's it exactly. Even if this monitor could magically sustain 70 watts RMS, we'd still be hitting a wall, a physics wall.
The driver's just too small.
Way too small. A driver that size physically lacks the surface area to move enough air for those powerful low frequencies.
So for a kick drum to sound good, you need, what, like under 80 hertz?
To sound convincing, yeah, you really need solid performance below 80 hertz. This monitor claims 120 hertz on the low end, but a 3-inch cone just cannot push enough air to give those notes any authority.
And that's where the paper towel tube sound comes from.
That's it. All mid-range, zero thump.
So let's connect the dots here for everyone listening. The problem is a combination of things.
It's a 1-2 punch.
You've got a potentially misleading peak power rating, and you stack that on top of the physical limits of a tiny 3-inch driver.
And that combination basically guarantees you're going to be disappointed with the bass and the overall sound.
So what's the takeaway here when you're looking at budget gear?
I think you have to recognize that with this amp, a lot of what you're paying for is the convenience of the mounting hardware.
Not the sound quality.
Not really the sound reproduction, no.
So if you've already invested in a good electronic kit, what should you do?
The sources are pretty clear on this. You need monitoring that actually respects your investment. You have two real paths.
Okay.
You can look at something like the Nitro Amp Pro, which steps up to a much bigger 8-inch woofer that can actually handle the bass. Or
just stick with headphones.
Or invest in a good pair of quality studio headphones. The bottom line is, don't let convenience override physics.
So what does this all mean for you? When you're evaluating any kind of equipment, not just audio gear, think about this. Why is the sustained performance, the real number, so often buried?
Yeah, it's always underneath that big, impressive peak number.
That less relevant peak number. It's a strategy. And it's something to think about the next time you look at a spec sheet that's designed to impress you really, really quickly.